All right. A warm welcome to the Dalpark Private Grade 7 parents, the Grade 8 parents in waiting for next year. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I know it's not the intended presentation that I was looking for. I would have liked to have had the opportunity to speak to everybody live. However, this is what we have and this is what we're going to do. Please feel free at any point to, if you have a question at least, put it in the comment section of the YouTube channel that you're in, and I will try and attend to as many questions as humanly possible as we go along. Should I not attend to your question, I will make sure that I have a look at it and I'll get back to you within an email within the week, or possibly even posted in our newsletter come this Friday. But Dalpark Privates. Now, why Dalpark Privates? You being or having been with us for this length of time already, you would know that we're a family school. We're all about our learners. We're all about education going forward. We're all about making things different. We're all about adapting our educational approach to further our learners in their worldly approach. We're all about preparing them for the outcome at the end of their matric. And that's why Dalpark Private. I know that I have learners in my office all the time, to come and have a conversation. We have that feel, we have that tendency. The teachers have that connection with our learners that is absolutely fantastic. So let's have a look then at our grade 8s for 2022 and how things actually function, how they run and how they work. As I said, unfortunately, you won't be able to communicate with me other than on the chat, but please do send through questions or comments or anything like that, and I will tend to things as and when I can possibly do. I also won't keep you for all that long. I know that it is a 6 o'clock on a Monday evening, and food is ready for some people and the night is just about to start and get ready. So I will try and be as fast as humanly possible. But I would like to get through everything. All right. The first thing that we start off with, and the question that I get asked quite often, is school times. The term dates, just very quickly, we run on the same term dates as the rest of the school. So there's no difference over there. In terms of our school times, however, that is where our difference does come in. I like our learners to be at school by 7:45. The grade 8s and 9s, from a Monday to Thursday, they will go until 2 o'clock. On a Friday, they will go until 1:30. Please remember that when we get over this thing that we are now calling COVID, our afternoon sport program and cultural program will also come into effect after those times. So on your average school day, in our normal times, we want to call it, our day will end at around 3 o'clock. However, on a Friday, it will end at 1:30. So what is our approach to teaching? How have we gone different? I can tell you right now that Dalpark Private, when COVID hit last year, we were one of the first independent schools to actually manage to get online and to get online successfully. If you remember correctly, we went online with Discord last year. We have subsequently migrated across to Google Classroom, and we are finding it absolutely fantastic. Our teachers are posting all the work that needs to be done on Google Classroom, and it can be accessed at any point. The videos are there for the learners to go back to if need be. Everything is there for them to work through. In terms of assessments, we have sort of migrated and started drifting toward a more continuous assessment format. That means that every little bit of work our learners can be assessed on, and they are continuously assessed on it. We have tried to negate formative assessment as much as humanly possible, although it is still required and it's still necessary. And we do it where necessary and where required. We have shifted, though, to our continuous assessment. That means that In the college, our learners can't come and say, oh, but, I didn't feel like doing this because, it wasn't an assessment. Unfortunately, in this case, all the work could be an assessment at any given point. That means that it could be out of 5 marks, it could be out of 2 marks, it could be out of 10 or whatever it might be. But we have now shifted our focus towards a more continuous assessment approach. You'll see point number 4 there, due dates. Due dates have become a diligence for us. In other words, our learners need to keep to them. My message to my teachers is simply, if learners are not sticking to due dates, they're going to be getting zeros for those sets of work. I don't like doing that. It's not the approach I like to take. However, it is a life lesson. You get into the work environment and you get these deadlines that are set for you, and you've got to meet those deadlines. We're working with young adults now. That's why I love the college. We're working with young adults. And something that these young adults need to start learning as a life lesson is the ability to keep to due dates. When a due date is not met, there are certain requirements that need to go into extending it. That is, generally speaking, a letter from a doctor stating this is obviously why the learner wasn't there, and that will be discussed then with the teacher, and the teacher will have a look at extending that due date. However, I can't stress enough, due dates need to be adhered to. We then go on to our school devices. Now, we have migrated across to an online learning platform. What you'll see is when learners get into the FET phase of the college, that is grade 10, 11, and 12, they are completely online. The grade 8 to 9 phase, we start drifting them or getting them into that mentality of working more online. What you would have found with the prep school as well is that it is a prerequisite that all learners have an appropriate device, that is a tablet. Now, when we talk about a tablet in a college, I'm still happy with a tablet for our grade 8s and 9s. However, when these learners get into grade 10, 11, and 12, they will need a laptop. So a question that generally comes my way from the parents is, what device should I be getting my child? My answer to that is quite simple. If you're looking at the long term, have a look at a laptop. Have a look at a laptop device that will work for your child from grade 8 all the way through matric, and possibly then even into university or college or wherever they may go with their life from that point. I'm not saying by any means that a tablet is not accepted in the grade 8 and 9 unit. It is, and it will still be used. But if you are looking at getting a new device, a laptop is generally something that could be used a little bit more long term. The big one, cell phones. Cell phones are still a no-go. Cell phones, unfortunately, open up too many variables that are not able to be controlled. That is social media. The school has a no social media policy. This reigns in the college. That means that WhatsApp, Facebooks, the TikToks, the Instagrams, the like thereof are not allowed. Cell phones, unfortunately, open us up to these things, especially WhatsApp. Every child will have their device, be it a tablet or be it a laptop. Therefore, they will not need a cell phone at school. That's how it's worked in the prep school. I know that as well, and it's going to continue to work that way in the college section of the school. All right, the big one for me, communication. I love communication. I feel like communication is the bridge to closing gaps that seem to appear in situations where parents are not really aware of what's happening with their child in the classroom, or vice versa, if we as the school are not really aware of what's happening with the child at home. We've got to remember that the development of a child is from home, the parents, it's at school, and it's themselves as well. Okay, so we need to keep that triangle going. And the best way to keep it and to manage it is through communication. I love transparency. I know that my teachers love transparency. Okay, so what I've brought in, or what we look at least with the college, is an emailing system directly with the teacher. That means if you have any concerns, queries, if your child is not going to be at school, if your child has questions or anything along those lines, you email the teacher directly. There is a 24-hour response policy, obviously excluding public holidays and weekends. That means that the teacher will have to get back to you within 24 hours. Again, excluding public holidays and weekends. In that case, if you email on a Friday afternoon, you're going to get your response on a Monday. Okay. If you email on the Tuesday afternoon and the Wednesday is the public holiday, you will get your response on the Thursday. But I love this communication. Send an email, chat to the teachers, keep up to date with what's happening with your child in the classroom. I've asked the teachers to do the same. In other words, if there are any issues in the classroom, if your child has possibly not achieved what they should have achieved in terms of the assessments, if they've done something fantastic, the sense of communication sometimes tends to drift in a negative line, and I like to make things a little bit more positive as well. Let's talk about the good things that are happening with our children at home. Let us know. If you are not getting the responses that you're looking for in terms of discussing it with teachers or anything like that, you can email me directly. My email address is public knowledge, and I will most certainly get back to you as and when I can within that 24-hour policy. You're more than welcome to call and make an appointment with the teachers, with myself, with whoever you need to have a chat to at the school. Every Friday, moms and dads, every Friday you will receive a newsletter from me. Please keep up to date with it. We send out communication in those newsletters. Changes. Look now, let's use COVID as an example. There have been changes that have happened here, there, and everywhere, where we've asked certain learners to stay at home, or we've changed times. And unfortunately, these are not things that are within our power. Sometimes we get dictated to from the departments that do control us. Those sort of things go out in newsletters. We let you know. This is our way of communication. Through all this communication, I love to bring in the accountability and the responsibility side of things. That means that our learners are walking out here with accountability. They're walking out here with responsibility. They're going to walk into their adult life and they're going to say, I'm accountable for the actions that I do. I'm responsible for the decisions and the judgments I make. And with that accountability and that responsibility comes the correct decision making. They learn how to make the correct decision, because they learn, if I make that decision, my outcome is not going to be favorable. Therefore, I need to be more responsible with this. This sort of ties hand in hand with the deadlines that I was talking about. It brings about this accountability, this responsibility, these adults that are going to walk into society and be the future of South Africa. In terms of discipline concerns, this is also the chain that you would use. You would email the teacher directly. If you're not getting the outcome that you're looking for over there, then you can email me. Please, parents, try to stick to that chain as best as possible. Let's keep the teachers in the loop as well. I want them to know your concerns and what you might feel is being missed out on, or anything along those lines. As I said, transparency. That's what I'm looking for with this communication. All right, I've already spoken about the assessment. Now, what we have done with the assessment is that our continuous assessment and our formal assessment. It's broken into those two areas. The continuous assessment, that is the work that the learners are doing through the entire term. Everything that they're doing in their books or their worksheets or their projects or whatever it might be, these learners, or this continuous assessment, its weighting is 80% of that term mark at the moment. The formal assessment carries a 20% weighting. That means if you get an exam term, for example, and I'm also sort of pushing exams out slightly as we go along. What we've done this term in the grade 8s and 9s is we're not writing exams, we're writing cycle tests. So for the past month, our grade 8 and 9 learners have been writing cycle tests on the days that they come in the morning very quickly, and then they continue with their day's work. But basically, that formal assessment counts 20% of their term mark. So you can see what the weighting is of that continuous assessment. You can see the importance of our learners actually getting involved in the classroom, doing the necessary work, as opposed to picking and choosing and going, oh, this is an assessment, therefore I'm going to put effort in now. Okay, every single thing is important. Our reports are issued at the end of each term, and they are emailed to parents. They are emailed to parents whose accounts are up to date with the school. Now, I will never withhold a report from a parent. However, if your account is not up to date, all I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to say to you, please pop into my office. Let's discuss this. And at the end of that meeting, there's your report. Thank you very much for popping in. I appreciate it. But at the end of the term, all our reports will be emailed directly to parents. Then the big one. Sorry, I just need to move here a bit. Apologies. Okay, then the big one that parents tend to ask or like to ask, the school fees. At present, the grade 8 and 9 school fees are 38,500 Rand annually, okay? And it is being investigated for 2022. We still haven't managed to come down with our budget to the exact school fee that we're going to be looking at next year. But we're trying to keep it lower than the 10% increase. This, for parents' convenience, is divided into an 11-month payment plan, where you can pay it over that 11-month period. If you pay your school fees in advance, in other words, if you decide that you're going to pay it completely in bulk the year before, if you pay it by December the year before, you will get a 7% discount. If you pay it by January of the year that your child is in, you will get a 5% discount. So those are also options that parents can most certainly look into. Then the grade 8s and 9s have an additive fee, which is at present 1,000 Rand. We're still also looking into that. If you are a new parent coming into the school, you will have an admin or a registration fee, which is 2,000 Rand. And then the big one, moms and dads, and I need you to be aware of this. In our FET phase, that is grade 10, 11, and 12, we shift across to a complete IEB curriculum. What that means is that at the end of matric, your children will write the IEB matric examination. Now, this is a big pro in that the IEB examination opens doorways for our learners. The IEB examination is seen as an examination that will get our learners into tertiary education a lot easier than the government exams. It's also seen as an exam that should your child decide that they're going overseas, they're immigrating, whatever it might be, or they want to go study at least overseas, it gives them the front foot to have a look at those universities overseas. So we've chosen to go with the IEB. What it means, though, in the year that your child writes matric, they will have an examination fee. Now, this examination fee is not something that Dalpark Private has decided, oh, we're going to charge for exams. It is an IEB examination fee. In other words, the IEB themselves, which is the Independent Examination Board, they have got a fee that is set for their exams that we have to pay per child. At present, it's give or take 7,800 Rand. That means in the January of the year your child is in matric, they would have to pay, or we would have to pay that examination fee to the IEB. So that examination fee is over and above the school fees. Now, there are many ways to get around this in terms of not having a lump sum in the January of the year your child is in matric. What you can do is you can add on to your monthly school fees at the school. You can say, I'm putting in an extra 500 Rand. You let me know. I will make sure that that 500 Rand gets packed away for the year or for when your child is in matric, so that that cumulative amount has built up and it is ready to be paid for your child's IEB examination. Another alternative is that you actually pay the lump sum up in January of that year. I'm going to stress the importance of this fee. And the reason I'm stressing it now is because I would sort of veer away from the second approach in terms of paying the lump sum in the January of the year. If that examination fee is not paid, your child cannot write matric. Again, this is not something that Dalpark Private has decided, we're going to make a fee for this. This is the IEB. The IEB, they work with all the independent schools. I can't go to the IEB and say, oh, so-and-so hasn't paid their fee. Can we please look at exempting them from paying this fee so that they can write their exams? Unfortunately, the IEB doesn't work like that. They'll literally look at me. They'll say, unfortunately, I'm sorry to hear that. However, so-and-so will not be able to write their matric. So I'm being upfront with you moms and dads. As I said, transparency, transparency, transparency. At present, it's around 7,800 Rand for that IEB examination fee. I'm expecting it to be in the region of 8,000, possibly 8,200 next year. That's my expectation. They still haven't put out their fees. But please keep that in the back of your mind. Know that if you're putting something away for that, when it gets to that time, it can be paid and everything is sorted. There's nothing to worry about. All right, and then on a final note, yes, it wasn't the longest little meeting over here. Our teachers in the college phase of the school, and this is actually also why I wanted to do tonight's meeting in person, so that your moms and dads could meet our teachers and you could see who they are and find out what they're about and possibly have a conversation with them. Unfortunately, that was not to be, so I'm going to just let you know that Miss Webster, Miss Titus, Miss Kun, Miss Heath, Mr. Muller, Miss Ings, and Miss Motswane are our teachers in the college phase of the school. Obviously, myself, I'm heading up the college. These are our wonderful teachers, and they are absolutely fantastic at what they do. They love transparency. They love communication. They love due dates. I know that. They harm me. But they're absolutely fantastic at what they do. So please, when you do manage to get into school or to come and have a look or anything along those lines, come and introduce yourself to these teachers. Chat to them. Let them know you. Let them know who your child is. They're going to be learning, these children as well. You know, I know most of these teachers, except for Miss Titus, have not met any of our prep school learners yet. So, you know, introduce your child to them. You know, let's get these things going. I'm going to get them into the grade 7 classes as well, so that they can see these learners and they can chat to these learners, and sort of, you know, get this communication going and get this bond growing. That's what we're about. We're a school about family. We're about the upliftment of our children. We're about getting them into places, moving into their life, moving forward. I'm very big on accountability. I'm very big on responsibility. We are working with young adults now who are going to go out and, as I said, make that change. They're going to be these fantastic human beings in our world and make the difference in South Africa where needed. So I just want to check on the chat group to see if I've got any questions over here. And I don't know if I'm doing this right. Just have a look, sorry. I'm not seeing any questions. Mr. Warren, can you just give me a thumbs up in terms of a WhatsApp to let me know if there are any questions that I am missing over here, possibly, please.
Mr. B, can you hear me?
Mr. Nana, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
Good.
Mr. B, I just wanted to say also, if you don't mind,
Sure.
To our parents that we actually started the college because of parents' requests. We had so many parents that were happy with what we are doing and our approach to education, and that is one of the reasons why they asked us to consider opening up a college so that their children could start and finish with the Park Private School. So this is not just a separate unit or something. This is all part of the same brand, the same Park Independent Educational Center brand that we're building and that we're growing on. And we have the same values and we are moving forward. So we would like you to consider and to, well, I would strongly urge you to keep your children with the Park Private brand, because this is what we are doing for you, and we will always strive to do our best for your children. That's all from my side, Mr. B.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nina. Sorry, yes, you're very correct, and moms and dads, that is very correct. The idea of the college, as Mr. Nina so rightfully actually put out there, was born through the request of parents. You've trusted us up to this point, and for good reason. You know what? I don't want to sound biased, but our prep school is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. So why change? You know, why throw that into the life of your child? But I leave that in your hand. Sorry, I'm getting a question here. Just a second. Okay, the question is, what about load shedding and data? Is the IEB compulsory? Okay, I'm going to start with the IEB. Yes, the IEB is what we're going with. So the IEB is compulsory. In terms of load shedding and data, sorry, I'm making the assumption that you're talking about from the schooling situation. In terms of the schooling situation, we are looking into ways around the load shedding, which we are currently experiencing. So that will hopefully be a thing of the past. I wanna say, you know, in inverted commas like that. In terms of data at school, you know, our learners are logging onto the Wi-Fi. So we do have that permanent Wi-Fi availability at school. If you're talking about from home, look, our children are at school, you know, so I wouldn't see the need for data at home, barring if we are in a COVID situation, which we are at the moment. Then yes, the learners are going to need data or home Wi-Fi, or whatever it might be. But look, by the time 2022 comes around, hopefully we're in a situation where the majority of our population has been vaccinated, and we're in a situation where our learners can get back to school.
From the tech side of things, Mr. B,
Yo,
we have also looked at we've actually purchased and set up the UPSs, the uninterrupted
yes,
power supplies.
yes,
So those things cover us in the event of load shedding. And
yeah,
also we have backup plans. Even if the Wi-Fi goes down, we still have backup plans for that as well.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm struggling to see any questions over here. Let me just see if this works. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. I spoke about the load shedding and the data. IAB we've spoken about. Okay, I'm not sure what this question, or if it is an actual question more than a statement. It's saying schooling and due dates that the students must submit their work for 2022. I'm not sure what actually is being asked over there, other than are you asking if due dates are going to be put out to our learners? If that is the question, then yes, due dates do go out to learners. They also go out to parents. So they are emailed to parents in the form of Google Classroom. So all our parents are also made aware of when anything is due for each and every one of our subjects. Yes, okay, that is the gist of it I see on the chat. If you do have any more questions, moms and dads, please feel free to drop me an email at b.broderick@dalparkprivate.co.za. I will ask Mr. Niner if you wouldn't mind in your newsletter this Friday just putting that out as well, and the parents can then ask any questions that they may have not thought about now, and they can direct it directly to me, and I will get back to you. But moms and dads, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I hope that you have a wonderful evening further, and yeah, thank you very much. Keep safe, everybody.